Yesterday we continued to work on the 82 K10 diesel pickup. We weren't able to document everything because we kind of ran out of daylight, so we weren't able to keep you up to speed on what's going on. But here's what we've accomplished so far. Replaced all the battery cables. We redid the starter wiring, the wiring to the starter and to the glow plug controller, as well as changed the oil. And today we're going to change the fuel filters. Also yesterday, with the glow plugs out, we were able to turn the engine over with the fresh oil in it. We ran it for a little while with the glow plugs out. Oil pressure was really good, came up to about 60 psi during cranking. So I feel pretty good about the bottom end of the motor. So today we're going to keep going and maybe we'll get it cranked. We'll see. Yesterday when we turned the truck over, I checked the fuel filter just to see if there was fuel in it. There was, but I believe there's also some water in it. So what we're going to do is check this, make sure there's no water in here. And then on 82 model Chevrolet pickups, they had a drain at the back on each of the tanks where you can actually, it's not a drain, it's a siphon valve, where you can actually siphon the water out of the bottom of the tank. We're going to crack open both of those and check to see if there's any water in the tank. We're over here on the left rear of the pickup, and you can see inside the fender well there, over the spring perch, is the drain cock for the siphon valve to siphon water out of the bottom of the tank. We're going to hook a hose up to that, see if we can't get a siphon started, and see what's in there. Alright, we're going to start the siphon here and see what comes out.
Yeah.
Ugh. That looks like pretty clean diesel fuel there, so we're going to shut it off. You're going to be fine. And now we're on, let me know when you're ready. And now we're on the passenger side. We're going to do the same thing. We got the drain cock open just above the spring perch, and we're going to start another siphon. And the siphon's not working. There we go. And guys, that looks pretty good. Little to no water in that fuel at all. So we got the new filter put on, new fuel filter put on. We filled it with diesel fuel and oiled the gasket just like it's supposed to. Screwed it on about 3/4 of a turn once it made gasket contact here. And now it's on to the secondary fuel filter, which is under the intake. Here's the secondary fuel filter right here. This is the input and the output. To get this filter off, we've actually got to take this whole housing off to get access to the filter. So we went ahead and broke these lines loose. This is a 16 millimeter and this is a 14 millimeter, but somebody's obviously tried to use maybe a 9/16 or a 5/8 on that and rounded it off. We were able to get it off, but I was a little nervous there for a minute. So we got the filter and the filter bracket off. We had trouble getting the filter off. It's so stinking tight we weren't able to use the filter wrench and the channel locks like I was hoping to. And we don't have a vise or a workbench out here, so what we did is just threaded the filter bracket on to the intake manifold upside down, and we're going to try to use this filter wrench to break it loose. Watch what you're filming, Ivy.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. We're going to try to break this thing loose. There it goes. Good. Alright, good enough. We'll get the new filter on here and get it filled up with diesel fuel. Then we'll be good to go. So next we're gonna purge the air out of the fuel line. So you've got a vent right here that you can purge out of. And to do that, we've already got the glow plugs out, so the cranking speed will be very high. To make sure that we're not injecting fuel into the engine, we unhook the fuel cutoff solenoid wire right here. And we should be able to turn it over for a little bit, get all the air out of the fuel, and then we'll put the glow plugs in and she'll be ready to start. Alright, we got the vent open and we're gonna crank till she spews fuel. Okay, go ahead. Crank it, Ivy. Alright, so it's the moment of truth. We got all the glow plugs in it. We've got the oil change, new battery cables. We redid the starting wires. We put new fuel filters on it. We've purged the fuel system. We've cranked it over. It's got good oil pressure. Everything looks good. It's time to crank it up. Nice. It's running, buddy. Give me a thumbs up. All right. After a lot of troubleshooting, we were able to figure out that the glow plug relay is not operating on this, but as you can hear, we got it running. The way we got it running is we purged all the air out of the diesel fuel system. Basically, we just took the return line off and cranked it until it was flowing free fuel or clear fuel, and then it wouldn't crank after that, so we checked to make sure that it was getting fuel into the cylinders, which it was. We could see that by how wet the glow plugs were when we took them out. So then we basically jumpered the relay to make the glow plugs hot, and that got her fired off. So here we are, we're idling. We had a great day today at the storage lot, working on the 82 K10 diesel. We got it cranked today. What we found was the glow plugs were not working. We had to bleed a lot of air out of the fuel system because we changed both the fuel filters and put fresh diesel in it. We did drain the tanks a little bit. There wasn't really any water in the tanks at all. There was a little bit of water in the original fuel filter. But we got all that out, and man, it cranks and runs good. Doesn't seem to smoke a whole lot. Runs pretty smooth. Obviously needs driving. But that completes phase 1 of this project, which is get it running. The next phase is get it driving. So we got a busted rear end. The carrier is broken out of the differential, so we've got to repair that or replace the whole carrier. And then it's new wheels and tires, brakes, brake lines, and probably U-joints and drive shaft as well. So that's going to be phase 2, and we'll see you back here in a few days.